There is one emotion almost no one willingly confesses. People admit fear, they admit sadness, they even admit hatred. But envy remains hidden. It disguises itself as criticism. It calls itself justice. It pretends to be ambition. Yet beneath countless arguments, broken friendships, and restless nights lies a quiet question. Why them and not me? Envy is one of humanity's oldest emotions. It appears in ancient myths, religious stories, political revolutions, and modern social media. Civilizations have changed, but envy has remained almost untouched. Unlike admiration, envy doesn't simply notice another person's success. It suffers because that success exists. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once observed that people are often less disturbed by their own suffering than by the happiness of others. This seems irrational, but our minds are built for comparison. We rarely measure life against an absolute standard. Instead, we measure ourselves against the people standing beside us. A modest house feels luxurious until your neighbor builds a mansion. A successful career feels meaningful until your classmate becomes famous. Nothing about your own life changed. Only the comparison did. Envy is not born from poverty. It is born from proximity. We envy classmates more than billionaires, co-workers more than celebrities, friends more than strangers. The closer someone resembles us, the more their success feels like evidence of our own failure. And that is where envy quietly begins. Why envy hurts so much? Imagine two artists. Both paint beautiful work. One becomes world famous, the other remains unknown. Objectively, nothing about the second artist's talent disappeared. Yet suddenly, every brushstroke feels heavier. Why? Because envy transforms another person's achievement into a judgment about ourselves. Psychologists call this social comparison. Philosophers understood it centuries earlier. The Stoics believed suffering comes not from events themselves, but from the meanings we assign to them. Success becomes painful only when we interpret it as proof that we are inadequate. This explains why envy often appears during life's milestones. Someone gets married, someone buys a house, someone publishes a book, someone becomes wealthy. Each accomplishment silently whispers, "You should have done this already." But reality is rarely so simple. Every person follows a different timeline, different opportunities, different struggles, different luck. Envy ignores all of that. It compresses entire lives into a single comparison. And comparisons are almost never fair. Nietzsche and the hidden psychology of resentment. Few philosophers explored envy as deeply as Friedrich Nietzsche. He believed many moral judgments secretly emerge from resentment rather than genuine virtue. When people cannot possess power, beauty, intelligence, or success, they often redefine those qualities as undesirable. Instead of saying, "Oh, I wish I had what you have," they say, "Oh, your success is meaningless." This psychological transformation allows people to protect their pride. If excellence cannot be reached, it can simply be condemned. Nietzsche called this ressentiment. It is envy disguised as morality. History offers countless examples. Successful people are called selfish. Beautiful people are dismissed as shallow. Wealthy people become automatically evil. Talented people are accused of arrogance simply for existing. Sometimes these criticisms are justified. Often they are not. The important question is not whether criticism exists. It is why we feel compelled to criticize certain people more than others. Envy rarely attacks those far above us. It attacks those just slightly ahead, because they remind us of what feels possible and what we have not yet achieved. Social media, the perfect machine for envy. Never before in history have humans compared themselves this often. Every day we scroll through thousands of carefully edited lives, vacations, luxury homes, perfect relationships, business victories, fitness transformations, awards, smiles. Our brains were never designed to process this much comparison. For most of human history, people compared themselves to perhaps 50 or 100 individuals. Today we compare ourselves to millions, and not to their reality, but to their highlights. This creates what philosophers might call an impossible standard. We compare our ordinary Tuesday morning to someone else's greatest moment. Repeated enough times, reality begins to feel disappointing. Ironically, many of the people we envy are themselves envying someone else. The wealthy envy the richer. The famous envy the more famous. The successful envy those with greater influence. Envy has no natural endpoint. It simply moves the finish line. The strange logic of envy. Envy contains a disturbing paradox. It rarely wants equality. Often it simply wants others to lose. Researchers have repeatedly found something surprising. People sometimes prefer earning less money, provided everyone else earns even less. In other words, relative status matters more than absolute well-being. This reveals something uncomfortable about human psychology. Many people don't actually seek happiness. They seek superiority. Ancient philosophers warned about this long ago. If your happiness depends upon standing above others, then your peace will forever depend upon someone else's failure. That is a dangerous foundation for a meaningful life. Because eventually, someone will always surpass you. There will always be someone younger, smarter, richer, more talented, more attractive. If comparison defines your worth will never feel secure. Can envy ever be useful? Surprisingly, not all envy is destructive. Some philosophers distinguish between malicious envy and inspirational envy. Malicious envy wants another person to fall. Inspirational envy wants to rise alongside them. One destroys, the other motivates. Seeing someone succeed can reveal possibilities we never imagined. Instead of asking, why them? We can ask, what can I learn? The emotion itself may remain the same, only its direction changes. One version consumes energy through resentment. The other transforms that energy into action. History is filled with inventors, artists, entrepreneurs, and philosophers who admitted being inspired by those they once envied. The difference was simple. They stopped staring upward long enough to begin climbing themselves. Escaping the endless comparison. Perhaps the deepest cure for envy comes from existential philosophy. Existentialists argued that meaning cannot be borrowed from someone else's life. It must be created within our own. No comparison can answer whether your life has meaning, because meaning is not a competition. The Japanese speak of ikigai. The Greeks spoke of flourishing. The Stoics spoke of virtue. Though different in language, they point toward the same truth. A meaningful life is measured internally, not externally. Imagine running a marathon while constantly watching everyone else's lane. You would stumble almost immediately. Yet this is exactly how many people live. Watching everyone, comparing constantly, forgetting to move forward themselves. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard warned that the crowd often causes individuals to lose themselves. Comparison slowly replaces identity. Eventually, we no longer ask, what do I truly want? Instead, we ask, what should I want because everyone else has it? That question rarely leads to fulfillment. The mirror that never ends. Envy is not merely an emotion. It is a mirror. But unlike ordinary mirrors, it never reflects who we are. Only who we are not. The more we stare into it, the more invisible our own lives become. Perhaps that is why envy feels so exhausting. It demands endless attention while offering nothing in return. Someone else's success can never complete your story. Someone else's beauty can never define your worth. Someone else's achievements can never determine your meaning. The philosopher Epictetus taught that freedom begins when we stop trying to control what belongs to others and focus instead on what belongs to us. Our choices, our character, our effort, our direction. The world will always contain someone richer, someone wiser, someone luckier, someone more admired. That reality cannot be changed. But there is another possibility. To admire without diminishing yourself, to celebrate without comparing, to grow without resentment. Because perhaps the opposite of envy is not contentment. Perhaps it is gratitude, the quiet recognition that your life was never meant to be someone else's. And the moment you stop living inside another person's reflection, you may finally begin seeing your own.